Sorry, just.
Alright, so it's more parody. Says on the screen it's being live streamed, is it not done through you?
It has it right now. It's going. Okay, so it's good now.
Alright, great. Well, thanks everyone for joining. We'll go around and do introductions because we have a guest. My name is Paul Stankus. I'm the chair of Complete Streets. I've been on Complete Streets for 3 or 4 years now.
Cool. Hi, I'm Ella Conrad, and I've been on this council for like 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I think it's been 2 or 3. Yeah, go.
I'm Claudette Ford, and I've been on Complete Streets now for, I want to say 5 years. I know I've been on longer than both Paul and Ella.
Everybody.
But I cannot remember exactly what term I'm in. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes.
Ryan, you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Ryan Jennings, and I am entering my 2nd year on the council.
Great. Phil?
Yeah, I'm Phil Shuttle Green. I'm the environmental specialist with the city of Kingston, and I'm here both out of interest, but also because I'm the IT guy today.
Our guest?
My name's Andrew Ortega. Resident who's interested in the subject, and this is the first meeting to attend it.
Great, welcome. Thank you.
Great, welcome.
And it looks like David joined also. We're just doing quick intros.
Okay, I'm here, and the audio sounds fantastic.
Wait, sounds good?
Oh,
Yeah.
does it?
Oh, great.
So
We didn't
far,
do anything. All we did was talk about how it needed to be improved. So I guess that was
Perfect. it sounds really good.
I can't hear you though.
Let's see if I'm going to turn it up right now.
You can't hear me.
Wait, that's better.
Turn it up here. Do we still sound okay?
Yep, still sounds good. Much better. I can actually
Oh,
hear you.
wow.
Wonderful.
See, Phil, you're good IT.
Great job.
We're just doing quick intros. Brandon, introduce yourself.
Hey, hi, I'm Brandon PM. I live a block that way. I've been on the Complete Streets Advisory Council for a year now.
Alright, great.
Yeah, it looks like
Are they on? Oh, cool. Welcome. If you guys want to give quick intros, it's just because we have a guest who's new. If not, that's fine. We can fill.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cutting in and out.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ezra. I've been on the council for about 1.5 years now, and I've been a longtime Kingston resident for about 18 years, living without a car, and I live over by the YMCA in Pine Grove.
I'm David Daw. I've been on the committee for a few months now, and I'm the wheelchair advocate guy.
Hey Al, my name is Gustavo. I've been in the committee for a few years now, and yeah, Midtown resident, and yeah, all about mobility and safe pedestrian and cyclists.
So can we pull up the agenda?
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
you want me to.
Can you zoom in a tad?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to 100% up there on the next to
left.
if you put it like
yeah.
page width, maybe.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Or just like
Should look at it later.
No, I'm just
Is that looking better?
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
someone.
Could you click on,
Right.
is there, you said that you have some info on the grants update?
Yeah, so what Emily recommended, we have the updates for the grants,
Questions and concerns.
so we can
First time I've been able to get to some meetings.
Yeah, is there anything in particular that
so
it's worth?
with these ones, it looks like, I mean, it sounds from what Emily said, you guys got these report backs basically every time,
Yeah.
which means you're probably
Bob.
familiar with all the stuff that's not in red. So if we just go down, and I mean, if people have questions about these, maybe I know something about that. But if you go down, if we go down to, so we have 2 new awards here.
Okay.
These ones, I mean, the first one that made news, right? It was in the Freeman.
Yeah.
Dollars for Foxhole and Flatbush, which is good.
And that's on top of what
just got a little
has
comment.
already been promised.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I actually don't know what the total is right now. There's many millions of dollars, and there's still more that needs to be accrued.
Sure.
Because maybe John has brought that up before. I think it comes up later in this, actually, in this document, but there's like sewer work that needs to be done.
Right, that was the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's still money, they're still looking for money to get to do that work.
Okay.
And then it looks like there was money that was acquired for another street sweeper.
No. Is there any detail on that? The size? Is it just like, or is it just sort of at this point just generic street sweeper? We've always been talking about how we want a small street sweeper to get into the sort of the midtown.
I
path,
can't
the
see
bike
the,
lane.
I can't see the amount, but how much money?
It says 345,000.
That's about right for a regular size.
For regular size.
Regular size, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting to look at. It looks like the grant is the water quality improvement program.
That
So
makes sense too.
Oh, so the stuff doesn't wash into the water.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
they-
right. That's,
yeah.
most street sweeping programs really started because that, it was under the Clean Water Act, yeah.
cool.
That's cool.
Okay, so then we go on to the pending awards. So it looks like, oh, you guys can see it. It's just blocked on my screen. So looks like the only update here is, and maybe let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Because it's
Yeah,
definitely not readable.
Sure.
That's the closest I can get without starting to cut it off. What it's saying is that there was an application for Safe Streets for All, which from this context, it sounds like it's, well, it was not successful, or Exeter County for it.
What was it? What was their specific project for?
Yeah, I think especially on
Was it a
bridges,
GOT grant that was,
for the
yeah.
dummy bridges?
we didn't get because,
This is the kind of thing where it's like, I received this document today and I wasn't, this is I don't actually know what this was. From what I get from this though, yeah, I don't like update the safety plan.
It could also be
I don't know what that means.
the 9W funding I know was applied for at the federal level that they didn't get.
That's
That's separate.
Yeah. So maybe, you know what, I'm going to be here for the next 2 meetings.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll find out what Safe Streets for All is and I'll tell you guys about it
that'd be
next time.
nice.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So then we keep going down, or do we? Or no, that was it. Oh, that was it.
That's it.
Huh. Well, I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe it's some of these things are.
Just they've been on. for a
Those are
while.
all pending.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought there was a whole. Wow, weird. Okay, well, the 9W planning project, that one is still. It's not. It hasn't been like axed.
Oh,
That's still something that's up in the air. The same with like leaving the waterfront. That one apparently is in Washington waiting for signatures to like sign off on the grant. So we waterfront is the one that's sign of East Strand Street and North Street.
yeah, like
and
the
connecting-
bulkhead and the
Yeah,
Train tracks, right?
raising the road
Yeah.
so this is maybe partly why it's been slow. It was raising with that and a lot of those kinds of things. When it comes to transport projects, it has not been, it's still there.
Oh, you mean like if it's something to do with climate change, they're saying, no, they don't want to fund it?
Yeah.
We understand that was like, like sort of, no,
Citizens and counties,
What's that? Insane.
that in sanctuaries.
Yeah, right.
great, there are these things that they were looking out for to say, this is no good. Right, okay, so yeah, so it says it right there, contract awaiting signature in Washington.
Okay.
And then there's, right below it is the Reconnecting Communities 9W1.
All right.
So their actual contract negotiation has begun, so we got that, which is, that's a really exciting one.
Oh, that will be exciting. I don't even know if we've seen plans for that yet. Are there?
You probably have them yet.
Yeah,
You got some.
yeah, okay, great. So I mean, the next step, we'll see some actual designs and, all right, that'll be really exciting.
Yeah, I think that the Reconnecting Communities, Reconfiguring Route 9W, that project would be hiring consultants to figure out what it is that
Alright, great.
what could work. So those are the transportation projects that Emily wanted me to tell you guys about.
All right, great.
Then let me see, it's very difficult to navigate systems.
Pierce Street rehabilitation.
Okay, so
That's
Pierpont,
interesting.
that's close to home.
That's very, Phil and I are neighbors. It's,
Pierpont is,
that's the dead end street, that's cobblestones. It's funny that that's under current projects underway because I didn't know that there's anything actually moving forward with that. I've sent John Schultz ideas because I was like, we should build a pocket park. And he's like, I like that. And so I'm like, here's some ideas for pocket park. They have funding for it. So I don't know if that actually is further along than I had thought. It'd be nice to think it would be.
my understanding is
Something with
that
it.
they're,
Okay.
and I think there's money allocated.
Yeah, that's what I had heard. That there was money. They just have to figure out.
So this is an abandoned street in that has.
It's kind of collapsing on itself
Yeah,
at this point. It's one of, I think, just two streets in the city that is made up
Still
of
have
cobblestones.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's historic in that respect anyway.
right. So
So it's by Catholic Charities?
It's right next to it. It runs along the side of Catholic Charities, it's between Catholic Charities
Oh,
and the
right.
construction company's warehouse.
Okay, so yeah, because Google Maps doesn't really have it in there, but it would be like then going down to Broadway, it's that. little-
Yeah.
that little
But it's close, right?
Yes.
type, Yeah.
yeah, so
Not to be a pain in the neck, but have you guys had a refresher on the NPO process? So have you had Brian come and give you a talk about the Metropolitan Planning Organization and where all the federal funds come from and how they get here?
No.
There's three things. They do a UPWP, which is the Unified Work Plan,
Okay.
which is, they do a TIP, which is the project, definitely the project funding. And they do long range plan, a unified planning, unified UPWP, and the TIP. And the NPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which Brian Slack is the manager of, he really should come and give you guys a lesson in it.
You
I mean, it's really, all this whole mysterious, what happens to the federal money, and where does the federal money come from, where does the federal, he can answer that question with the NPO. And the TIP, and the city has a seat on the NPO. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably John,
Okay.
be my guess, would be, or it could be Suzanne, it's the planner, or the engineer, typically it's the engineer. It would be worth your time to invite Brian to come and give you or something.
Yeah.
Some we give you an NPO.
Funding 101.
Yeah, because it really would provide insight into this chart,
Okay.
you know, where the money is, where.
Yeah, we can reach out.
Right. And there's been.
Right.
So that. Park is one, I think. In. It's for. The idea to have where the train track, you know, the spot where the Y. The thought.
Right.
Train track. Transfer where that can become a city park, but my understanding is that that's gotten a little complicated, but that project's still ongoing. And that's a really complicated one, because that's sort of David and Goliath. Really massive. And
Right. Well, also they wanted to not just build like a ramp, they wanted an elevator, right? So that it could go up. That was a pretty big project.
Really want to.
Yeah.
CSX is gonna say no, right up to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that idea.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything in there about the CSX quiet study?
The CXX, what?
There's a quiet study going on.
Oh, the quiet study.
That Brian might know about. It's a study that was started, I'm not sure what the status of is in the counties that managing it, which would enable CSX trains not to blow their horns when they come through town.
You mean not at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Right, right. You know,
Well,
I missed that, Colin.
No, I mean not at 3 a.m. or
I used to.
42 or, you know, like.
Well, I think I'd heard that if the crossings got up to a certain safety standard, then they wouldn't have to blow their horns.
That's
Like,
the
yeah,
quiet
so
study.
that's like,
But there's more to there, yes, the ones that exist, they would have to bring up to a standard. Some of the ones, like the ones that go to the cemetery and the ones that would have to be closed. Possibly the one at Gage would be closed. You know, so the little crossings would be closed and the big ones get gates that you can't get through.
okay.
And the right of way has to be sealed off so that people don't end up in the railroad right of way. You know,
Right.
it's expensive. And I don't know whether Brian would know what the status of that study is.
Yes, they've done the quiet routes in other places. I definitely know they did it in
Yes.
Berkeley and they did it in Oakland. They not CSX, but their partner on the other side. They can do it, but it is expensive.
Yeah, they did one in Rockland County for, I think it was CSX, but somebody. But they're right, Claude's absolutely right, they're expensive.
Yeah, so applications, rail. We're talking about right
Right,
now.
railroad crossing.
That's it, that is, I believe that's the project.
Okay.
Possible application, rail crossing illumination, 2025 round. Well, no, GO Rail is I've been reading about it. It's a new thing where people are concerned because you know, there's been more crashes at grade crossings. And the railroads hate at grade crossings.
Mm.
And they also hate pedestrian, but you know, they believe their right of way is the only one that matters.
Right.
And since they got it in 1820, they've never did.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least from what I'm seeing. Earlier last year, but that's still, and that's something that's been kicking around in Kingston for a while, is the idea of trying to off the
If the Foxhole project includes 2 railroad crossing upgrades.
Right.
Mhm.
yeah. That would make,
No, they won't be quiet, so it's happening.
yeah. Yeah, and then. But the city can to improve stuff that's connected. Is that our state trail.
All right. Okay, well, that's good. That's exciting stuff.
Question, Bob, could you introduce yourself? Because I don't think everyone knows who you are.
I don't know where
Yeah.
I'm Bob Dennison, I'm the Alderman for Ward 6. I was chair of this committee for a number of years, and I was on the committee before that. And I joined the Complete Streets Advisory Committee council while the Broadway project was being developed. The consulting firm I was with, I'm a professional engineer, and the consulting firm I was with did the planning for the Broadway project. But prior to that, I was the chief engineer at New York State DOT. So I'm a transportation person, I guess is the way I would describe it. So. I don't know.
And also you're the, I'm not sure if it's, what the term is, but the sort of liaison between this committee and the
Right.
common
We
council.
all have committees that we watch for feedback, which is, and this is one of mine. So this is public works. So I don't know who you guys are, so.
All right, yeah, well, Paul saying is chair, for at
Congratulations.
least a year or so now, yeah.
I understand, I hear good things. My son Colin tells me good things.
Yeah, I'll give you
Okay, I'm Ella, Conrad.
Claudette Ford.
I know Colin.
I'm on this committee because he said you should be on the committee.
Just a resident. Been in Kingston now, coming up on 2 years, but my previous life was really involved in advocacy. Stars aligned, I was able to here at 4 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Okay.
So more than anything, I on a personal level have made attempts to address some things I'm experiencing on a daily basis. I've not had any success with that. Was curious to see if there was a different vehicle to try to get some solutions in my part of Kingston.
Where do you live? Okay.
So I'm in Uptown, and I mean it's they're local, I guess, as they say, you know, and you want to do something as simple as walk your kid to school, and it's not that simple. It should be an easy walk,
Mhm.
and some of the things that maybe someone should notice. This is a plain fruit to solve, and I've been shocked that a year and a half later we're no closer to addressing these issues. There's other things that aren't as serious that you know, for example, when we arrived, I was very excited to see heard this story about a bump out in front of the Old Dutch Church,
Mhm.
for example, and now it's almost later, and it's still just a pile of traffic cones, and there's not been any word as to what the delay is in. Because, you know, it was sort of unsightly. Winter, it's really impossible. So I'm mostly just curious and interested in meeting people and figure out how can address some of the things that we've been dealing with.
Yep, say your name.
Oh, Andrew Ortega.
I'm Brandon Stennis. I'm the secretary.
Congratulations.
Mhm.
Do you know if I,
No,
Emily stuff?
was that?
You're in Emily's gang?
Yeah, sort of environmental specialist with the city of Kingston. So they work with Julie. To understand this is actually. So I work with Emily too.
Yeah, the Complete Streets Advisory Council has come a long way from when it was Tom Holt was the chair. You know, they used to fight about things like sharrows, and he would only put them, the public works guy at the time would only put them down by the beach, you know, where there isn't any bicycles. You know, I think between John and between Ed, we've made huge progress in people that are open to stuff. Public Works is down 9 people now. So they're, you know, they're doing the best they can. I would expect things like the thing for the Dutch Church would happen, can't happen now.
Sure.
It would happen, probably happen this summer.
yeah,
He's put in, he's got, speed humps, we put down in on Gage, on Stefan, there's a number of them. So we put money in the budget to do those. And so they're getting to them when they can. It's, you know, the park, the the Broadway project still remains controversial. I would say to some people, the roundabout at the end of Broadway, I think was a great project that the state did.
There are a couple of people actually on Zoom who have
Oh,
introduced themselves.
Yeah.
I see Ryan in the corner and David.
I'll stop sharing so we can see them all.
Yeah, just guys, just want to give a quick intro. Just when I had a chance to meet Bob.
Hi, I'm Ryan Jennings. I live sort of at the top of the Rondout, and I joined the advisory council to try to help improve the sidewalk situation in my neighborhood and across the city. That was my major driving force to join the council, and I'm going into my second year sitting on it.
My name's David Daw. I've been on the council for a couple months now. I've lived here 56 years, and I'm a wheelchair user, and I'm trying to hopefully make things more accessible in town.
Let me tell you a little about the sidewalk stuff, as long as you mentioned it. I sat on a committee that selected a consultant. Well, the sidewalk adventure started years ago when we took the sidewalk ordinance and updated it. And Kristen Wilson did a great job, did much of the work on it. I would give her credit. So we upgraded the ordinance, which went into effect, which was a good thing. And it was really way outdated. It was, there was don't tie your horse to that kind of stuff. And so it's up to date, but and it was controversial because, we have the historic districts, which are bluestone, and we have the rest of the city, which needs to be concrete. And there was all controversy around that, which I think is pretty well solid. So the county put together you can tell me if I go wrong in this. The county put together a study of all the handicap ramps and had their interns do a study of all the 81 miles of sidewalk in the city. So we know where the 81 miles are. We know generally the conditions. And the next step would be coming up with some sort of plan to take care of the sidewalks. So we have a consultant that's going to take the information that was developed by the Complete Streets Advisory Committee and the county council and the county and put it into some sort of a format that we can talk about presenting to the public as a sidewalk improvement district possible. Now, that's going to be a tough lift. People are not going to like that because it's going to increase taxes some. So the next step is once the consultant comes up with their plan and puts everything together and makes sense out of it, we'll be talking more about a sidewalk improvement district or some other way to fund sidewalks in the city. Presently sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owner and to some extent the city, but primarily it's property owner. Replacement is on the property owner, clearing snow and ice is on the property owner. Some cities, Ithaca, Burlington, have a different model where they have an actual improvement district with a staff that takes care of the sidewalks. Maybe we can get there. The problem with it is that it requires an improvement district, which will require a taxing. So we've got to figure out, the next step will be the consultant puts together the plan. Plan gets presented to the common council. Common council adopts it, goes to the state Senate and Assembly to get permission, have a referendum. We have a referendum of the voters of Kingston, which approve it or don't approve it, and then it goes into effect after that. So it's not an easy process, but it's underway. It's not like it's completely forgotten.
No, it's pretty far along at this point. Yeah, considering how long it's been.
It's been a long
to work.
It's gone quite far.
It's been a long time. And Claudia, you were involved in the whole.
Oh, yeah, I know.
How do we get there? How do we pay for it? We looked at a bunch of different models. It's a tough lift. People don't want to, if I replace a sidewalk in front of my house, why do I have to pay? It becomes like a sewer tax. You have a basic capital thing, plus there's a piece that would go to a maintenance and depending on your frontage, it gets complicated. So we'll see what the consultant says and see where it goes from there. But it's not forgotten. The question is, will it be, it's going to be a tough lift. It was a tough lift to get the library district years ago. That was the last district that we did in the city. That was in the 90s, early 2000s. And that was, And libraries, it's decided on the fact that it was called a special interest for a while, which kind of freaked me out. Is in place, and you pay a separate tax you pay a bill for your library district.
Now, the consultant, they come up with a recommendation, right? And then they also help the city plan outreach to residents.
Well,
that sort of thing.
there was two
We know.
proposers, there was two proposers that made it to the final cut. There's two that made the final cut. And the proposal, if memory serves, did include a strategy,
Okay.
to how to move this forward, as well as a strategy on how we pay for it, and, so.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned, it could be, it's absolutely necessary, there's no doubt the sidewalks are horrible. And, our claims, what surprised me is we haven't had as many claims as I would expect, right, Claude?
This is true.
We've been very fortunate. Many cities end up with a problem because they have, claims. Somebody falls down the sidewalk. The homeowner, or the property owner, and the city can end up in court. And the claims have not been crazy here. I have seen occasions where people's homeowners insurance has come to them and said, you gotta replace your sidewalk, we're gonna cancel you. Which is,
So then you want people.
We can't see.
Oh, I also wanted to mention David he does a lot of documentaries of Kingston and how it is to get around.
There you go.
The sidewalks, and it's really eye-opening.
yeah, I'm sure.
So who else is joining?
Gustavo and
Oh.
EJ.
Oh, EJ.
Oh, EJ is there too. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
AJ too.
Sorry, the audio was cutting out a little bit on your end. What was your question?
Oh, just if you want just a quick intro to Bob, who's on the Common Council.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, sorry,
There.
unfortunately my camera doesn't work right now. But yeah, my name is Ezra. I've been on the council for I think coming on 2 years now. So I've been a Kingston resident for about 18 years. I've personally never owned a car, and for the majority of the time I've lived in Kingston, I've been in a household without a car at all. So I joined the council because of my lifelong experience being a Kingston resident without a car, and you just kind of advocating for how it can be easier to live in our city without one.
Gustavo, I think you may have been on the council. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know Bob, so yeah. Hey Bob, Gustavo here.
And then EJ, if you have a second.
Yeah, Bob, I've been on the council and he's been to meetings before. I haven't
Okay,
actually met him in person, but I've been to the Common Council meetings a couple of times too. Thanks.
All right, can we get the agenda back up, Phil?
So I just stopped in to give you an update on the traffic cameras.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit about.
Great.
That's right.
Yeah, that's I just funny. I got to look at them for the first time driving over here because I hadn't made it a point to look at them since they've been installed, but there they are. It's exciting.
Well, I don't know if they're operational yet. They're not gonna be, the plan is, the traffic cameras, well, we have two things in the, we got the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit last year, which was interesting to get. And the traffic cameras from the state had to permit them.
Right, it's a piece of legislation.
They need a piece of legislation for small cities to do it. New York City has been able to do it. Small cities got permission last year to do it. So we got a vendor because we don't want to own cameras, go through all that mess. And so we had to go through a process to select a vendor. John led that, John Schulteis primarily. So we have a vendor and we have a contract with the vendor. They're going to install the cameras. Our parking people will be reviewing the claims. Every time somebody gets, a ticket, they have an opportunity to contest the ticket. And our parking people will do a great job, by the way. Vinnie Perry and these guys do a great job.
We hadn't visited.
Yeah. They're going to be looking at the people who get tickets for speeding. It's a civil ticket. It's not doesn't go, no mark on your license. $25 first time, $50 if you're late with your payment. We talked about what do we do with the money. Well, we don't know how much money we're going to make. Okay, that's the first.
Yeah, we see it here that, you know, it was budgeted or at least estimated, right? To be
Well-
adopted budget.
John Tui threw in $200,000. He's our comptroller. He's very good. He said, okay, we'll try that. Given that we're not going to start it until, well, we don't know how much money we're going to make. And so they did put 200,000 in as a revenue source. And we'll see what happens next year. We get a percentage of each ticket. We don't get the whole thing. We get, I don't know, 50% or something.
Yeah, one of our concerns was the use of the money, right? That it didn't just go to general operating.
It's going to general operating at this point. And I would say last year we were able to get a bunch of money put into the budget to do traffic safety. That's how we got the funding for the speed tables and for beacons. Which, you know, the mayor, we asked the mayor for it and did it. At this point, the 200,000 is in revenue source general fund. Because they don't know how much it's going to be. And if you were to take it out of there at this point in the budget year, you'd have to come up with some way to pay to get them to, it's a $200,000.
You have to balance it.
You'd have to come up with some way to deal with that. John is not enthusiastic about moving it this year. He wants to see how it goes, which I understand. I don't think you get the common council to change it this year. I think next budget year, there could be a conversation about, okay, this is how much we generated. The problem with it, of course, is that theoretically, it's a declining revenue source.
Hopefully.
So I'm going to give the mayor credit for two things in the last couple of years. One is the fact that he's given us a pot of money that Ed can use to do things like speed tables, which we never had a pot of money to do. In the past, we'd ask for it and they'd say, well, I can't afford it, I don't have money. We do have a pot of money for that in the budget. The other thing the mayor did last year was to establish a traffic safety unit. And it's two, I think it's two policemen and two cars. They're voluntary. They like it. You know, it keeps them busy. You know, they don't, and they are, I've found them to be effective. If, you know, I've had problems in my ward where there's been a speeding or whatnot, and if you call 311 is one way the taxpayer can do it. They'll respond. You know, they're looking for places where they can serve and give tickets and, you know, and they generate a bunch of revenue.
Yeah.
By enforcing the 25 mile an hour speed limit. Depends on the zone. Some are 15, some are 20.
But if you're. What's the.
Because it's a civil thing. If you're going over 15 miles an hour, you get a ticket.
Really?
You know, but speeding, when you talk to a policeman about speeding and about what, you know, this whole, you know, you can go 5 over. No, you can't. You know, it's all at the discretion of the police officer. You know, if he had a tough time this morning and, you know, was cranky, he could get you for going 66.
But now we have machines that aren't cranky.
But
Right.
I think the machines gave
They might give some.
Maybe a little.
They might give a little.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed they did, but I didn't know that was.
But they don't have to. There's no requirement for them.
The person who's tweaking the machine, if they had bad morning, then you'll get the ticket.
Yeah, like the,
Is
how
there
much
any
slack do they get?
or other reason that the program can't be expanded?
Yes,
It
Sure. Cannot. The state legislature allows us to put speed cameras at 3 schools in Kingston.
They have to do new
They
legislation.
were very specific about it,
Okay,
and they're calling it a pilot.
pilot, so,
Now, the city, New York City, has much more flexibility.
yeah,
You know, because New York City is a separate animal when the state legislature deals with that. So they have a much more flexible way. Syracuse is Syracuse, Albany, us, the mid-sized cities
yeah.
got permission.
I just asked because I know for the past 2 years, I've been listening to Crossing Guard excitedly, oh, the cameras are coming, the cameras are coming.
They're gonna be there here.
Well, they did not come to ours.
Yeah.
So there's I don't even know how many people
Right.
are aware of it, but you know, it's a disappointment because It's, in my opinion, one of the worst speeding that comes into town.
And which school is this?
Edson. So.
I'm trying to think which,
You're,
high school and two others. I'm trying to.
yeah, that was the one.
Is it on the?
Yeah. This is George Washington and JFK.
Well, I think.
The reason that they were cited where they were cited, and I give John Schuh, you know, the things that we a tool that John used, and it allowed us to get the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit as well.
Yeah.
We got a couple of years ago, recording devices, speed recording devices. You see them in the neighborhoods every time. Your speed is, okay. They're wonderful devices because they also record your speed. And then even when they're not lit up, they record your speed.
With your license plate or just the cars?
Just the speed. So that we can take that data.
Yeah.
And we use that for the 20, saying, this is the average speed, this is the, you know, how fast people are going here. And, you know,
So
surprisingly, it's less than you think.
if the pilot is successful,
Yes.
is it possible then that with this accumulated data that they're getting possibly from other areas that could be problematic, we could go back to the legislature and have them endorse, vote on however they want to do it for additional payments?
I think that, yes, I think if the pilot's a success, I think we can go back to them and say, we'd like them in all our schools.
So what qualifies as success? Is it going down?
Well, yeah, the idea is that the speed in the school zones will go down.
Okay.
And I'm sure that these cameras also record that. I mean, they record how fast you're going, everybody.
Yeah. I think the hope from the people I spoke to was, you know, that not on the main road, but Washington and
JFK or
Lucas Ave?
Lucas Ave, particularly problematic. People come into town on Lucas, above posts in town. No one's going anywhere near 25. So then when they, you know, bringing that energy with, same thing happens when people are exiting the thruway. No one's going anywhere near the posted speed. By the time you get to the Washington section, you know, just the signage is kind of a moot point.
Yeah, your older woman, Sarah, asked me, talks about this a lot. And she talks about the speed feedback signs. And she talks about she would like to get it, but the problem with the legislation is that it limits the distance away from the school you gotta put them. And, you know, so Lucas and Washington, I think, are too far away.
Sure.
So you can't use a speed enforcement camera that far away from a school.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotta be in the school zone, the rules are, you know, to be honest, the people upstate, the legislators from upstate are reluctant to use innovative stuff.
But also there's, you know, the way that Washington Avenue is designed, you know, especially go closer to the thruway where it's like 4 lanes.
Yes.
I think that's problematic because like you're saying, it doesn't say anything, oh, you're in a town now and you need to slow down because people live here. It's kind of saying, oh, you're still on the highway.
The city limit is this creek.
Yeah.
So as soon as you pass, you know, you're in the town of Ulster,
Yeah.
which is a whole other, they can't, you know, they have not been able to get to a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit either. Sure. So.
Yeah, and DOT controls that section, right?
DOT controls the section from about the creek out to the road.
I'm correct. I think I've read or seen somewhere a plan to make changes to Washington Ave, like at Front Street and that area there where like the railroad crossing is. And
there's been discussions about it. I haven't seen much.
Any redesigns?
I haven't seen it. There's a discussion that goes to, you bump into the railroad people who are an interesting bunch of people. And the whole idea that the crossing there is difficult, and whether there should be some sort of a entryway, if you will, to the city, some sort of a way to treat that Washington Avenue differently as it goes forward. you know, because it's partly, because it's state owned, so it's part of it. It's in the town, it's in the city, it's a difficult
Yeah,
spot,
there's a
right?
lot of people to.
Yes, conflict of interest.
I have a question, the firm, what is the firm's name that is actually doing Steve here?
Genoptic.
Genoptic?
Yeah, I think with the
And
J.
are we gonna be doing a report, like an annual report?
Yes.
Okay,
You know, it's as a pilot, they have to do, I think it's more frequent than annual.
That's
okay,
great, yeah.
how do we get that, how do we make sure we get that report?
Well, sure, it'll come to the college.
I was gonna say, that should be a report to the council, so it should.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be public,
Yeah,
okay,
it'd be great if we could, so hopefully be able to get our eyes on that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's curious to see. I thought it wasn't going into the fall for some reason.
Me
Maybe
too.
it was supposed to be.
That's what I said. I
You
thought-
also, okay, good. I didn't make that
I
up.
didn't think it was gonna come this quickly as well. but-
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be the fall, but there we go. Got a couple more months of the school year to see it in action.
Right, and that's gonna be part of it, it's gonna be, you know, like, and the other issue is, you know, hours. You know, it goes
Right,
from
it's still
beginning
8,
to-
right, or something?
Well, at the high school till 8, because there's activity at the high school till 8. Should it be shorter? Should it be longer? I mean, this first year, or first, whatever, couple of months,
Yeah.
is gonna be a learning time. It's gonna be, you know, what's working, what's not working, is, you know, people, you know, are people doing it, is all that stuff.
Yeah, I almost want to sit there and just watch. Just the excitement. All right, I think
Whenever you do a traffic change, whenever you change traffic or change stuff, it takes typically about 2 years before you see results that you can depend on.
Mhm.
So, you know, you look at a year and see if people have adjusted, but by 2 years, you kind of know what's gonna happen. So just for,
The other day, if I can show this real quick, I made this little graph, this little bar chart of pedestrian and bicyclist crashes involving traffic accidents by hour of the day,
Wow,
in Kingston.
wow.
are you differentiating between e-bikes and regular bikes?
No,
Number of.
no, this is just, anything involving a cyclist or a pedestrian and a
Wow.
motor vehicle.
Interesting.
And you'll notice quite a lot happens after 4 p.m.
sure.
So, you know, as you can say,
That's a useful tool, yeah.
and the speed limit, you know, my opinion is, it is the speed limit
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
We should
And
just
even like-
enforce the speed limit.
Yeah, even like with, like, for example, with, George Washington Elementary, they have that. They have playgrounds, you know, the schools have playgrounds that children go to.
Right.
After hours, the weekends and everything, so, yeah.
The complicator is the legislature's got a big role. The legislature says,
Yeah, yeah,
school hours,
yeah.
you know, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little. Certain type of.
Yes.
But not.
And it
Reading
goes back from 3 to 5.
Yeah, it's 5 PM or something. But this is suggesting that
The whole.
the speed limit is 50 miles an hour near George Washington for the entire day.
Yeah,
Is that really that?
well, I mean, the law as I
It's-
understand it is that for school zone speed limit, it is enforced for the all day.
Well,
As long as there is school activity going on, that's the speed limit.
they're gonna make.
Yeah.
Initially,
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now, is there any, accommodation for the possible overflow on streets for people who go around?
Avoided, haven't talked about that.
Cause that becomes an issue sometimes because
Can be.
they avoid.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, well, this is here, but I'm going to find other streets and avoid that, so.
That kind of just makes me think of like the congestion pricing in New York City. Everyone's worried about like at 60th Street or wherever you enter it at.
Mhm.
Right there, they're just gonna drop their cars. But I don't think they've seen that sort of
People still
thing.
go to the city, they still do.
Yeah, exactly. And with this, like if you go off Broadway and then you're like making a big box to get back on Broadway, like you're just slowing down so much, like with all the stop signs,
There-
your train, like no one's gonna do that,
There
right?
will
Like
be,
it's
no, there will be people who do it, I'm just,
Yeah.
but that is something you need to think about, because there will be people, and then the people on those streets will be saying,
Right, right.
where do all these cars come from all of a sudden?
like a speed hump with the pot of money.
I tell you, when we took down the West Side Drive, we took down and replaced it with an at-grade boulevard.
Yeah,
Everybody said the city's gonna be a disaster, nobody's gonna go there, they'll
Yeah.
be driving there. Guess what? People still go to New York.
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's gonna be an exciting experiment for us all to be part of, and probably I'll get a ticket or some point also. Exactly.
On your bicycle. You
Can we-
Well, that is-
Can we see what else is on the agenda?
Oh, okay, so I just wanted to quick, as far as the pot of money. I think there is, because there is like parking revenue, right? So there is a way of doing that. Would it require like a resolution of the common council to create a separate pot of money?
Are you talking about like parking meters or tickets?
We're taking the speed camera tickets and
Yeah,
creating like a debt so that we actually say, okay, whatever we get from this, or does it make more sense to make like a line item that just is the same amount that we?
well, so according to this, it says go towards the operating expenses of the camera, obviously that's their chunk they take, but then in traffic enforcement, which I assume is our two-man team.
Yeah.
In the KPD, so it's. From
But it's not, but that's not
It's-
actually true because, traffic enforcement, it's because going into the general. So there's nothing diverting the funds into traffic.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
see, you know, there's two parts to the traffic funding, DPW and the police.
Mhm.
And the mayor, I mean, has the mayor gotten back to you in the letter? You wrote a letter. Did the mayor get back to you?
Yeah, we talked to him.
Oh, and it
Yeah.
came in
we
person,
discussed
that
it.
was,
Yeah. He was receptive, yeah, and he also, yeah, you know, it's obviously more of the common council, as far as the budgeting, but yeah.
Well, he'll like the proposal.
Yeah,
He makes, you know, the
Yeah.
common council primarily, and they have added a couple things, but most of what they do is look at his proposal,
yeah,
change it.
yeah,
They don't, you know, with exceptions, they've added stuff. But generally, like the money for the speed tables, we went to the mayor and said, would you add this? And he said, sure. So he, you know,
yeah,
so when he constructed his budget, it was in there.
okay,
We didn't, you know, if it goes to the county council, they mess around with it.
yeah,
Then the issue becomes, okay, where's the revenue coming? You're gonna take this revenue out, what revenue are you gonna put in? You know, and it's, given that we had a 2% increase this year in taxes.
yeah.
Is there things like that?
Yeah.
Well,
What is the procedure or vehicle for getting a speed table, a raised crosswalk?
Go to your older person.
It has to go through their office. There's not any other.
No, if you go to your older person will send it to John and to Ed, and they'll look at it and see if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then if they can afford it, and then, you know, where it fits in the schedule.
Okay.
You can also do through on one, like if enough people in the area do through on the one about speeding in the place. that
Have
helps.
there been campaigns for specific blocks or neighborhoods have, you know, gathered signatures or made a bunch of noise?
Signatures, you know, petitions, I mean, they're nice, but petitions are. No, be nice.
We don't always work.
We-
Well, I mean, with Main Street, there was that Pine Street did a petition that I don't know for really money.
There's recently been brought to our attention that it had to be a sort of straightaway that was
It's got
X
some
distance,
criteria.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what was the distance?
Right, there's, you know, John knows the rules, you know, it's gotta be in the straightaway, it's gotta be in a place that makes sense, so you don't end up with a snowplow problem, you don't end up with a drainage problem. You know, it's not just thrown out of.
You don't have an emergency equipment, fire and all that kind of stuff.
We don't use the bumps anymore because it knocks firemen right at the end of the truck, which is not good.
Yeah.
You can't have it in a steep hill, you know, it's.
And also you know, sometimes I think people will ask for like a really specific thing, like we need a stop sign, we need a speed bump or something. But there's a larger menu of things that could be done to help reduce speeding as well, like bump outs, for example. So I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I think it's like if you kind of have a more
we were kind of focusing more on like, we want people to slow down and we want to explore different ways
Yeah.
that could happen. You know, like there's a lot of different approaches.
You know, the idea that people come in, you know, if you drive around some parts of the city, you'll find stop signs in every corner. You know, why did that happen? That happened because some alderman decided that they wanted to slow traffic and their answer was to put stop signs in every corner. That's great, except for you cause crashes. You know, stop signs, you know, it's like, I want a traffic signal here. Why? Well, because it'll be easier for me. Because, you know, you change the kind of crash you have. You know, you don't want to create a situation where what you think will be an improvement increases crashes. And they're always fearful of that, and I understand that. Stop signs is a great example. Other, you know, ideas, it's best to go with them and say, I think people are speeding here. You know, the first step would be, John will put out the feedback sign, and then he'll know.
Mhm.
You know,
The city has a number of mobile ones, don't they?
yeah, they have 3 or 4 when they put them out. So then we say,
So
okay,
you're reaching
you
out
think
to
people are
their-
speeding here? Here's the data.
Yeah.
We start with the feedback sign, some data.
Doesn't the state DOT realize that?
Yeah.
Your traffic.
It's supposed
Yeah,
no, got a lot of traction, any of our concerns.
What street is it? Is it?
Specifically Lucas and Washington,
Okay.
Yeah, Lucas is a problem.
we
Lucas,
have,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna take over the meeting, but we have essentially, you know, egregious, right of way violation happening on Lucas. And then the other issue is the Lucas heading into town. You know, that's a perfect candidate for no right on red because it's already a chaotic intersection.
Yeah.
And there's down the hill, you know, there's a mini mart on the side
uh-huh.
here, and there's this sort of no man's between the forward facing lane and there's not a turning lane. So what happens is people force their way into the gutter curb zone, and to make a right on red is to fully pull across the crosswalk, more or less intersection, and then go. So you just create with an older person just putting that, and it was almost as if I had planned it. 2 cars crashed literally in front of us. Yeah,
So this is good stuff because this actually, it must be a letter. Grant to build site.
Yeah, so we're talking.
Sarah's been wild about that. Sarah wants
Yeah.
to.
So it's,
yeah, I've been told this multiple times.
Okay.
The problem is,
So while that's amazing for 10 years from now, tomorrow afternoon, there are things that could be addressed. Shorter, cheaper,
Mhm.
you know.
Right, this sort of the friend task, whatever it is.
You know, back to the side. You know, I know there is this big plan, and the hope is to eventually have uniform sidewalks. But what I was told when I reached out to people is that they have no to, you know, if there's a house, which an egregious sidewalk situation that is, aside from writing a letter, they don't have any way to, you know, they can't do a fine, they can't do anything to force them to rectify that, is basically what
I'm confused with who would, if there's no sidewalk.
No, what I'm saying is, okay, so if you have a sidewalk in front of your house and it is in such poor condition that it's people, it's forcing people. What I was told was that the city does way to issue like a code violation or something similar to
The city did.
force as a resident to.
I thought they did.
I know the city does.
Yeah, the city
So
does.
if you call 311.
Yeah, I mean, you have the app, there's also an app.
I have the.
Yeah, the app.
I mean,
App record,
yeah,
and then they'll,
I can, After the meeting, I would happily send you all the photos.
If you've been to Sarah, I can just talk to Sarah.
Yeah, I can share them so you can look at.
The sidewalk, that's the reason that we have progressed this sidewalk.
Yeah, sidewalk danger, I would put, that, and then at least you have the record and.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
mean,
get back.
that's why we're trying to fix sidewalks. Throughout the city, there's terrible sidewalk. And, and if people fall on the sidewalk, the homeowner's responsible and liable.
Yeah.
And can be sued
And as Bob
and
said,
recover money. Right.
as Bob said earlier, I know I've worked in cities where it was a horrible liability, and so the cities did have to end up doing certain things in places where it was either what they felt was the city tree, or in some places, we actually had a person who went around and they did enforce sidewalk code, so you did have to fix your sidewalk. And if it wasn't fixed by you, the property owner or whatever, it could be fixed by the municipality, and then your property was lien later on to get the money back. But it can be done. If you've got a sidewalk that's that egregious though, the process has to start with somebody from the city coming out and saying, okay, this is really a problem, and notifying the property owner for the first opportunity to cure, and then take it from there.
Or their insurance company. I mean, if their homeowner's insurance use it.
Yeah.
I've seen people cancel because of that.
Sure.
Sure. It has to go. These projects.
Phil, EJ, has her hand up.
Yeah, sorry, the sound, the audio is cutting in and out. I'm not sure why. Just coming in on what y'all are talking about, sidewalk responsibility. I have this problem, which I've already emailed John about. I live on Franklin, where we have the bluestones replaced and they redid the sidewalk, and there's a grading issue now where I have literally 20 by 5 to 6 feet wide ice spot where the water is just melting and sitting on the sidewalk. Friday, I had to hire somebody. The ice was like 5 inches thick. I have orange cones out there, but this is going to be an issue that I'll be dealing with him on. But I've got the orange cones out. I hope nobody falls, but there's not much else I can do. I'm thinking about putting ropes, but it's, this is where, as a homeowner, the sidewalk was done, but maybe there's an issue there, and now I've got this. So I hope nobody, reports me, because there's not much I can do about it.
Yeah, well, the snow has become its own issue with removal of this giant storm, but it seems like the weather is going to help a little bit the next couple of days.
Well, the
So I think
problem
that's
is
our
that,
next.
the problem is that it melts during the day, and then
Right.
I don't think we're going to be below freezing for several more weeks. So yeah, it's, whatever. It's what it is. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope it can
I
be
think
resolved.
this dovetails with our next item, I think, which is snow removal. Yeah, so there's a number of items here. I think you added that first one, Somerset email reminders. Oh, was that just to have Summer sort of add it to the mayor's weekly newsletter? That, owners are responsible, or what were you thinking of that?
Well, I think she requested that we give her ideas for sending out reminders of what we should say.
Okay.
The reminders.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
When there's, maybe both the email, but.
Do we know whether or not they send anything to Spectrum? Because I know when I listen to the Hudson Valley News, whatever they call themselves, I hear stuff about Dutchess County and or Poughkeepsie and what they're advising their residents, and I don't see why we could have a TV blurb every now and then, or on any of the radio stations that would help. You know, say you've got to, like, I think the one for Dutchess County was, you know, you're responsible for clearing your snow, and you're also, if you've got a hydrant or whatever in front of your house, you're responsible for clearing the hydrant for 3 feet around. I mean, it was like, whoa, I was like, oh, that's good. But I don't know why we don't do that. I mean, I keep hearing, it's like, well, can't we do that in Kingston or else do that?
Sure.
Is that a code enforcement, or is there a mechanism for code enforcement with that? Because it's crazy that walking today, and this is most properties are shoveled in the front, but the amount of properties that have no access street is crazy. And I mean, if sort of people at this point trample down the snow enough that you can climb over. Pointless to clear the sidewalk if there's not actually any way sidewalk.
Right. Well, that kind of goes to our friends up in Albany who have the shovel brigade, which is basically a volunteer network. Otherwise, even if this guy to be like, how do you establish?
Sure, especially in Uptown and the Stockade, these are mostly commercial businesses that obviously have hired someone to snow removal. But is there anything on the book saying?
Well, we have the city code up.
Yeah.
Too. Do you want to click on that film? Go into.
So that's what we were discussing, like different methods of getting people to actually clear the streets. And one question is like that I have, why are we not finding people? Because it seems like we're not finding anyone, because if we were finding people, people would be, you know.
Does anyone know anyone there being signed?
I believe that Ed does find people.
Okay.
You know, you gotta bear in mind too, he's also 9 people down.
Right.
So his first priority is to move the snow. You know, and when things calm down, have people that will find people. But you know, he's had people coming in 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 shifts since this storm hit. It has not been an easy run for this. This is, you know, these are rare storms.
Is the staffing issue, is that budgetary? Budget. They've reduced the number of
So
staff.
he has fewer people than his predecessor has. He also has some vacancies.
Okay, so they're actively looking to fill them, or they're reducing?
No, he's actually looking at both.
And actually, so, because like one of the guys from DPW was here, and he said like the something like a third of the positions have been lost in the past 15 years, something like that. There's been a big decrease in the staffing for DPW over the years, I think. And now we have the vacancies as well. I mean, to me, it seems kind of like, wouldn't finding people for this like be a kind of a source of revenue that would pay for itself, kind of? Or add to the budget.
Or should do both things, right? Should make money, but also dissuade people from not shoveling.
Right,
So the process is, if someone doesn't clear the snow in their other side, they get a ticket for that. And the ticket, I don't know how much they are. They don't pay the ticket, it gets added to their taxes. So, you know, it's not like you get a check right away.
Right.
But I've always heard towns and cities are reluctant to do that. It's not a guaranteed revenue. 9 people, the expectation that the fines will cover their salary, because you'd be such wild swings. That revenue. But has that been I mean, just for my own curiosity, is the reduction in staffing, has that been a thing that the city is to, bring the total budget down, or is it just been a victim of?
When you look at the city budget, in New York State, the city budget is really 3 things: public works, police, and fire.
Yeah.
Which that's all you really have. Public works in the olden days, used to be fatter, but it also didn't have the equipment that it has today. Sure. So the question is, what's the optimal number of public works employees? And they continue to struggle for, to get to that number. That coupled with the fact that it's difficult to find people who come to work for the city, have a CDL, when we go out at night. And, it's not, you can work for the county for morning, why work for the city?
We've been told that they are actively trying to find people and having trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
It's cost of living too.
Yeah, well, and as a former public works director, with the salaries and what they're asking for, and the fact that they are, in terms of recruiting people, having the CDL is definitely a need, okay? And for many people, that is a turnoff because they're in a random pool and, they could get pumped, they don't want to. But the other thing is that random drug testing. One day your supervisor says, "Hey, I'll turn down the European Cup."
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to do it. and I know from personal experience, it comes through, you gotta give it to the person and the next thing they're not there. But there is also, in some cases, divisions where you don't have to have people with a CDL because they're not going to drive. But if you want them to be multi-talented or multitasking, having the CDL as a mandatory requirement does in some ways limit your pool because they can make more money unless there's a great benefit package. There's some degree of move up and they're paying a good wage. Now, if you don't get a good wage and you don't have any way to move up or within the department or your ranking, it's gonna be hard to recruit. It really is.
I used to lose people. I used to lose snow drivers to the big boxes down at 84. The big distribution places. So I've got a CDL license. Why the hell should I get up in the middle of the night in a snowstorm when I can work for a big box down here that's a transfer station? Not have to drive in bad weather. They were there and they were paying more. It was.
For small cities like this, if you're using your streets crew to also pick up your garbage, and so you don't have a backup, and you've got your streets guys who are doing the plowing, who are doing the street sweeping, who are doing all those other kinds of things, and then, you're right, they're working 14, 16, 18 hours a day to try to do.
Yeah.
You can't keep people.
Do they share responsibilities with the?
They handle the big stuff for the Parks Department. Parks Department does their maintenance.
Like the mowing and
But-
that kind of stuff.
Right, but if it's snowstorm, the Parks Department will also plow.
Yeah.
So it's, city, I used to find that people would come to work for us if they were like 45 years old. And they'd done enough of this construction or working hard. They wanted to get their pension and they would come at that stage in their life and do 20 years and get their pension and their health insurance and, but and I know it has the same experience. You get older people who are tired of doing, tired of.
And in the cities I worked in, it was different because we were municipal. So our people came in and it was union. They got good benefits. They could either move into sanitation or they could move into streets. Or they could be dedicated as part of the sewer crew or whatever, but we had different levels. It was a much larger city and we had different levels of people. We also pulled from fire and police and parks to plow if there was a need because they did have CDLs and we also hired contractors. So that helped us out a lot. If you don't have the opportunity to have backup contractors, you're gonna wear out your crew. You're gonna be tired, and you never have enough people.
Yeah. I would say our guys are doing a great job.
No, they're doing great considering.
It's a very hard job.
DPW, clearing that. Essentially, property owners.
EJ, you had a comment?
Yeah, the actual code says the removal shall be the actual cost to the city of remedying such sidewalks plus a sum equal to 5% of such actual costs for inspection and other additional costs. And if they have to contract it out, that will be added to the tax bill.
Okay.
Most of the work that you get punished. Is that what that's saying?
It says
Sounds
they're gonna charge 5% of whatever, like if it's 5 hours and there's 3 people, it'll be 5% on top of the 5 hours or whatever. And then if they have to hire someone else to do it, then that gets on your tax bill. I mean, that's how I'm interpreting it. I don't know if they're actually even doing any of this.
Yeah.
There's sidewalks that still on my street have like a foot of access, but I mean, you know, this has been a very unusual storm, so this is a little bit of a different situation. Although many people did shovel their sidewalks.
Yeah. Can we go back to the agenda? Yeah, we can definitely get some language that she can send out to people. You know, it's easy enough for us to draft. Disabled parking clearance. David, have you had any experience with this during the storm and how that's going?
Not very good. It seems to be a lot of places. It seems to be the idea, let's just put the snow in the handicap spot. I'm finding that down in the plaza is a big problem. And I'm drawing a blank on, there were a few other spots where it just seems everywhere you go, they're like, well, the handicap spot, we'll put a plop of snow there. And in the meantime, there's, 500 regular spots that don't have a big pile of snow in them.
That's unfortunate. I guess that's, the plaza is obviously privately owned, so that's something to sort of bring up with them, I guess. I don't know if you could put a 311 if that would do anything. But maybe contacting the owners. You did?
I did try a year ago through the dispensary down there because they were having a problem on that corner. And she spoke to them, and basically the story is that the stanchion at the ends, he uses that to plow into to stop the snow so they have a place to go. And just so happens that the handicap spots are all on the ends, so they end up getting filled, and all along that you end up losing all the handicap spots on both ends.
And
Wow,
what
sounds like
what
they
about all
can't
the
do anything
cars
about
that
that.
park in the handicap all the time? And I don't ever see tickets. I mean, I see, especially in the plaza parking lot, I see people parking in the handicap all the time, and they don't have the stickers. I mean, I'm sure somebody could do a lot
I
of.
wonder how enforcement is down
Yeah.
there in general. I have no idea.
Can they enforce it? Right.
Yeah, there's also one other
Yeah.
thing. There's also a $70 fine for every time you don't shovel your sidewalks, which obviously I don't think is being done. But that would be a huge revenue after every storm. I mean,
On years when it snows.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, not reliable, but on a year like this, the city would be cleaning up.
they'd get quite a few dollars on my street from Broadway to Washington.
Yeah, this also, I put this response I got from the Albany Shovel Brigade organizer, which was just kind of fun to see how this is sort of working for them, apparently. It's basically just volunteers organized around like an old school listserv or something, and they just get together and they meet up and just go around shoveling stuff that needs to get shoveled, whatever it might be. It's kind of cool to see something like that working in this day and age. I just thought it was kind of novel. So it's something to aspire towards.
Albany group, right? Or he seems to have added it, and they must have a group.
Yeah, well, there is a website that you can sign up for newsletters from. It's called I think it's called Walkable Albany. Is that?
Well, there's the Kingston Reddit group. I mean, it's pretty active. If somebody wanted to start something on there, there's all kinds of people are always commenting on there. And it seems to be very active, much more active than the Facebook Kingston pages.
Interesting. Speaking of the Kingston social media world, has anything ever heard about the woman who was hit by the car at the Five Ways intersection? I know you always know what's going on Facebook.
Let's see, there's been so many crashes, I feel like, I When was that? That was a little while
It
back.
was just a couple of days ago.
Oh, but that's
It's like
not
one of the
the
owners
one.
of the dispensary.
I was,
there.
oh, no, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I know that there was an e-bike crash on Henry and Broadway.
Oh, really?
I think it was somebody, the e-biker was in the lane, on coming from Henry, I think, towards O'Neill. And then somebody from the gas station pulled right into them.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they went to the hospital with. So, but yeah.
It was a couple of days after.
Hmm?
Yeah, that was a couple days after the five ways.
And then-
Okay.
Okay.
No,
and
this is another one. It happened yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
so was it like going between Stewart's and the dispensary? Cause that was where, remember there was a little boy who got hit right?
Right, and that, we never heard anything about
This
that,
summer.
right?
Yeah,
That's like, yeah, so that's at least third.
And we still haven't done anything about it.
No. Still remains a,
And that, I remember that story up in bigger news outlets.
yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a city. There's the protest.
okay, so there's a fundraiser for the person who was hit. It was Friday, so. Yeah.
That's the latest accident? And wasn't there one with an e-bike yesterday?
This is an older accident now. So
Oh,
the e-bike's newer.
oh Lord, yeah, okay.
No, that intersection, remains problematic. For sure. Was there anything else?
There are chats.
Oh, I also
Oh,
wanted
there's
to,
chats. Let's check the chats.
I also just wanted to know, does anyone know about bus stops? Who's responsible for clearing those? Is that the same property owner? The
I've got the
person-
code open, I can look and see, but
Oh.
I don't,
Oh, thanks.
I've
I mean,
read
that'd
the,
be tough for property owners to even know because there aren't established bus stops physically. I mean, they are sort of like an ethereal sense that
Yeah. Well,
like
but-
people know where the bus stops are, but they aren't marked anywhere. So you could have
Yeah.
a bus stop.
Real ones.
No, but I was thinking of like benches.
You mean like an actual shelter bus?
Or just even a sign, like.
Well, true, you don't really see a sign that says bus stop.
I mean, there's the one in Academy Green, there's the one in Garrigan.
There's one.
Right.
And there one.
Yeah, I've heard the story. These are sort of relics of when I think the city ran bus.
Well, the city used to run the
Right.
buses.
Yeah, so I think these are.
Yeah, some that are like total, not,
Right.
not.
No, the county runs it.
accurate.
Are they planning on putting up just signs that say it's a bus stop?
I would love that.
I think
I don't
they're
think there's
talking
any-
about it.
Is there?
I mean, not everybody knows, has lived in
Yeah.
Kingston long enough to know, oh, this is a bus stop.
And I mean, the whole thing about it is you could theoretically flag it down anywhere, but it
Well,
doesn't give you.
that's a
like,
strange-
Well,
wait.
that's a whole other.
Yeah, I remember somebody when I've only been in Kingston now for a little over, I guess, 10, 11 years. And I thought it was the funniest thing when I could see and I was willing to use the bus. And I said, where's the bus stop? And they were like, oh, just stand. And the bus, and I was like, you gotta be kidding
I
me.
know.
And they were like, oh no, I'm like, okay, so I've got a mobility cane here and I'm supposed to like stand on it
Just-
and
just
and wait for a bus? I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. So, yeah, I don't understand why they don't have just designated bus stops.
I'm gonna be honest, UCAT does not have a consistent flagging policy there. They have,
No, so you can flag it.
yeah, one,
Bench.
yeah, one schedule says something else, one bus driver does something, like, there's no real
I
consistency.
do feel like established stops with signage, benches or
Yeah.
not, whatever, but would help.
Yeah,
One step towards
At
being
least
a more
it's not,
established
even if
network.
there's no
Yeah.
bench, at
Yeah.
least this is where the.
Right, this is where I stand.
Yeah.
Someone sees me standing,
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to space stop, say,
yeah.
you wanna go? on the bus?"
Exactly.
so, oh, okay, so,
Yes,
Your Broadway, there's
Yeah.
big things.
in front of Tubby's, there's one, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Pretty
okay,
fun.
people parking that anyway, so it's a nice parking spot for us.
Okay, so now I'm remembering, I think Brian Slack was, I think this just came up recently that they want to do a kind of just like an inventory of the bus stops as a kind of first step, because there is like $500,000 for bus shelters
Right.
in the budget, and including,
And that's county budget.
and getting a study as well.
It's county system.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I think right now they want to just do an inventory of the bus stops, just to, because it's a little
Lucy.
crazy on, yeah.
Yeah.
Was there like a? I don't
There's
know,
actually some
was there
stuff
a
in the
route
code about
consolidation?
bus stops,
Was there a separate
Yeah.
county system and city system?
Yeah.
There's a separate county system and city system.
And then they can.
Yeah, EJ, I think so.
Yeah, go ahead, DJ, sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. It actually has a list of, I just found this. No, that's parking. It's thrown into the schedule with a whole bunch of other stuff. Let me just scroll through it here.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. That's parking. No standing. This might be it. It's a very long list. Sorry, it's taking forever. Let's see. These are speed limits. No, that's no parking and standing. Sorry, this is the huge schedule here. They've got everything here from stop signs to parking. Let me see if I can find a better. Let's see, bus stop.
Oh, it would be nice. Are you looking for bus stops, EJ?
Yeah, there's actually something in the code that says here are the bus stops. There's like a list, but when I go
Well, the
there,
city ran the bus system, right?
Are you talking
there we
about?
go. I
the
found it. I
phone-
found it.
phone-based code? You're
Wait,
talking
I
about the
found-
phone-based code?
No, I
Or the
found it.
old-
I found it.
Okay.
There is a list of every single street. Albany Avenue, East Side in front of Old Cemetery, Broadway in front of Dunkin' Donuts, Broadway North 35 feet west of
Dunkin'
O'Neill
Donuts
Street.
not anymore, so.
Can you email that to us, EJ?
It's actually in the code. I'll copy it and stick it in an email.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Okay.
So we're just about at time. I saw Brendan had an idea for a new law.
Yeah, and then Tanya called me and was like, wait, have you considered this other similar thing? But it's
Okay.
not the same thing. And convinced me that it's probably not the right approach to solving the problem that I perceived as a problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, the general gist, the vague sense that I have is that it would be really great if design speeds for
Yeah.
streets when we were doing traffic projects did not exceed the posted
Like,
speed limit.
I think
Yeah.
Vauxhall, right? I think the design speed exceeded the city speed limit.
That's just how this came to my awareness. Yeah, it was that particular project. Yeah.
Yeah. Was the design speed 30?
That'd be my guess.
Oh, because that was before, because they
Well-
started before them.
And it's typical to go 5 over.
Yeah. Right.
It's difficult because that's the design speed.
Okay,
But the thing, like, I think our code right now, we have the street design standard, hasn't been updated to reflect the new speed limits. And so the guidelines that it provides for the different street types are still 5 miles an hour or greater generally than they should be. You know, things that say 25 to 30 right now should say 20 to 25. So that would be great to update.
You get
There's internal mistakes with them.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and maybe. You already know that.
Consult.
Count. You guys have. Or no to. A little bit more.
Yeah,
The street is
yeah.
that can totally little revisit.
We're supposed to be able to have, like, whenever there's a
A new
change that doesn't,
Right.
it's not in line with street design standards, it's supposed to come to us for.
Yeah.
Right, and their constitute change.
Mm-hmm.
I think next straight, or maybe we'll try the road. I don't know, these are just things I thought about when the jury's bringing here. It's like, well, you guys have a lot of power. Well, potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah, I gotta say, it is like the street design, really interesting thing, but
All right, so that's good to be reminded. We talked about that. I remember when the zoning code was going through finalization, how there is a part where, you know, it does. I think city engineer is supposed to come to complete streets when there's a new street. We were wondering like, oh, that doesn't really happen very often, but if you think about it, it's turned to being repaved or restriped in this story. But with that, I think we can adjourn the meeting. A motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you all next month. See you next month. See you, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, thank you. Just to be here. My name's Andrew.
Okay.
To the public.
I was just looking at the interest.
I wasn't sure what-
Yeah, no.
I'm saying no here.
That's really bad.
And so, I don't know, but we need to just a tree.
So,
Oh, that's.
yeah, so like Kyoto.
Is that the Japanese places?
Yeah.
That's not.
My pleasure.
It's like,
Oh,
this is all like a big, like the entire.
I mean, I don't know if it would be helpful to be considering having someone. I guess you heard from the. I guess it was Thursday, you know.
Yeah, but then, you know, like,